Hello again everyone, and welcome to another Ferrari F40. I'm up to parts 35 and 36, and in this video I'll be fitting a big silvery thing into the seating area. I think it goes in front of what I did in the last video. This should be, I don't know what kind of a video this is going to be. Could go one way or the other. I've been looking at the instructions. They look quite interesting. It's not going to be a boring build in these parts. So that being said, I'm going to do my building stuff and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, how can I sum this up for you? I've had more fun before now. 35 and 36 were a nightmare. As is so often the case in this build, the design of the car, the design of the model, rather, is becoming a joke, and not a very funny joke. One of the main bits of fun I had was being told to put the end of these two pipes, bear in mind there's two of them, and they're really close together. You're supposed to put them underneath something that you've already put in place in a previous part that's now blocking it. So your tiny little holes that you have to put, you actually have to put the pipes over two tiny little pins at the bottom. Bear that in mind, each of which is less than 1 millimeter tall, and you have to do that after you've blocked the access to those pins. I know I called them holes earlier, but that's my mistake. I'm very tired here. Several pieces came disconnected. A couple of pieces on the gearbox, which is now in place, snapped off. I had to glue those back. This plastic piece here, they say, oh, there's a hole that will take that in the back of the car. Well, yeah, that's good in theory, except you can't actually get it through the hole. I had to take this off again because you're told to put that onto the gearbox first, this bit, but when you do that you can't get it through the hole, and I was trying to ram it through thinking, okay, any minute now this plastic is just going to give way and buckle and snap, and then I'm stuffed. So what I did, not very calmly I have to say, was take that bit off, make sure it actually pushed through the hole, and then I left that in there, in situ, as they call it. Nice posh term there for you. And then I pushed this, I put this, this is just a push fit. It's got two pegs underneath. It's quite a secure fit. I have to say that's a good part. But what I did was I then made sure the pegs were in place at the bottom, and then I pushed it up at the side to meet the plastic stick there. If that plastic stick was metal, that would eliminate at least 50% of the stress. That's not a great design at all. And do you remember when I said I glued that the button panel on because I had a feeling that that was going to be bothersome later on? Well, surprise, surprise. Guess what they ask you to do? They ask you to push a pipe onto the underneath of that bit. So what do you think would happen if you pushed a pipe underneath something that's not glued on? Exactly. So I made a very, very wise move gluing this into place. There is no way that so far at least half of this model will stay in place if you don't glue it, and if you just follow the instructions that just say push fit everything. That doesn't work. I hope Centauria are learning something here from everyone building this, and everyone's comments. I really hope they're learning something, because this has been a calamity so far. I eventually got those two wires on. The pins are so minute. Then it popped off the other end. It popped off the other end that it was already attached to when you get it supplied to you. So that was more fun. I was thinking, what the hell has gone wrong here? And then while I was fiddling about with all that, this one popped out. I don't know if you can see where my finger is. Hang on. I shall point using this. That one there. That popped out again while I was messing around trying to get those in. I had to hold this out with a screwdriver just to access it, and I only hope that these are the right side of each other. I can only hope, because I don't know. And we've got more fun coming, because I think that's where the seats go. It is where the seats go. Obviously the gear stick's there. I have a really bad feeling about putting those seats in, because obviously you've got to work your way past all these wires here that are only just barely hanging on for dear life as it is. Now you've got to put even more pressure on those again when you put the seats in. 4 pegs worth of seating. I guess I've not had any major disasters that's going to make me quit, but come close a couple of times to smashing things, including the car. I had to restrain myself. And there's another thing too. Okay, that other thing is, when it comes to fitting that last little part, what use is that picture? It took me ages to work out where the hell that was going into. I mean, come on, Centauria. That is hopeless as an instruction picture. I mean, it just says, press the fire extinguisher control box on the left side of the passenger compartment cradle. Where? That doesn't tell you anything in that picture. It's so bad. And then after all your trauma, well, after all my trauma that I went through to do all that, look what you get at the end. A microscopic, look at the size of my finger and look at that picture. You're supposed to assess everything that you've done from a picture that tiny. Not impressed. Anyway, instruction disaster aside, and design disaster aside, that has been 35 and 36. I've also trashed a little bit of the texture, the grey interior texture on that side, which I'm quite sad about. Hopefully you won't really see it once the seating's in. Although, actually, no, if the seating ends there, then you will see that, so that's unfortunate. Also, these pipes are a mess. Well, I've been using 2 different types of tweezer on them just to try and get them to hook over the tiny, tiny, tiny pins at the bottom. As I say, they can't even be a millimetre tall from the base of the car. I hope you have enjoyed watching this very traumatic episode. There's another piece I'm left over with. This is metal, thankfully. Really, a few more parts. I'm not asking for every single part to be made of metal. That's ridiculous. But a few more parts than there are so far really do need to be made of metal, because especially that bit, I could see myself snapping that bit and getting very distressed. And then I'd have to get in touch with Panini and get myself a back issue if they have any in stock. Bad design, bad instructions, bad photos. But overall, yes, I'm kind of still enjoying it, sort of. It's also the fact that they do tend to give you tons and tons of parts that aren't going to be used in that issue. You're really stacking up the parts. I got referred back to a part that I got in part 30 in these parts. That's 5 magazines ago. There really must be a way to collate the parts that you're using just for that particular issue. Surely. Is that really a way out there? Bizarre request. As I say, I'm going to play Scratch Nutty Adventure now, because that's going to soothe me. It's a really nice game I play on my PS4. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.